Hey, what's up, everybody? BDL44 coming at you with another video. Wearing my new sweater, so all the stuff that comes with it is on my head. But yeah, man, we're here to talk about the Lakers. Of course, I wanted to let everybody know this is just like last time when I had to switch back to the place that I'm living in and all of that stuff. Usually the video that breaks down the team that we're going to be seeing comes later on days like this. So that's exactly what it is. Even though the game's at 4:30, I'm probably not gonna be able to upload that video until like 1 o'clock. It's gonna take about 30 minutes to do, and I still have a couple things I need to do now, but it's about 10 something a.m. so I'm gonna try to get all of it done and then sit down and really discuss the highlights on the Pacers that I watched and break down all the numbers and go through that whole process. So yeah, it's gonna be a short window from which to watch it for it to be relevant, but I will do it. So that's really what I'm here to tell people. Yeah, man, the Los Angeles Lakers, we got to stop the bleeding on our losing. We've been losing a lot, man. Some of it has been forced on us by way of the schedule and how our franchise has to react to it. Some of it has to do with guys coming back from injury, which is a big part of this as well. I think some of it has to do with the coaching staff not knowing, being a rookie coach in place. To me, it feels like some of what needs to be managed when you go through this is being stumbled through right now. To be honest with you, I think that's the problem. He's stumbling through how to incorporate players back into the lineup. There's a way to do this, and I don't think he's doing it the right way. That's what it is. When you have stars coming back into the lineup and you have a condensed schedule with other players who are trying to work their way into the equation. Obviously, one of your stars is new, who never put on this uniform before a month and a half ago. So it's a lot of stuff that needs to be done with care and grace. And I think he's just slapping it all together and saying, go out there and work. And I think that what you end up doing is finding out that it doesn't, and furthermore, having guys become a little frustrated, disinterested. You lose certain guys because while guys are out, you got certain people running around doing the heavy lifting for you. When the big guys come back, you got to still show the guys that have been working that they've earned an opportunity to continue to be a part of what this is. A guy like Dalton Knecht, when you didn't have nobody out there that was of a cachet, you asked him to be your number two, and he delivered. Well, now that everybody's back, coming back from injury, you need to gracefully remove him from the lineup, not just abruptly snatch him out of the lineup and then just proceed to put guys like Rui back on the floor for 24 minutes. That's a horrible decision on the coaching staff, and I think it played into a multitude of things that hurt the team throughout the course of these last two games. The fast-footed nature of a Chicago Bulls team. The fact they drove at you repeatedly, and you got a guy like Rui Hachimura who's complaining from a knee, talking about he's 80% or whatever it is, not playing. But then you got your young, speedy, athletic scorer that just scored 31 points, not on the floor at all, so that the 24 minutes can be given to a guy that's playing at half mast. I mean, it's just not. That's not how you do it. That's not how you do it. And so this is the problem with just the newness of JJ being a rookie. It's going to cost you. There are certain things about this thing that you're only going to understand when you go through it. And unfortunately, he has to go through it with a win now demand upon his team. So, it's tough, man. The way that he's handled the Rui Hachimura thing, I think, has been the worst part of it, though. Because Rui shouldn't even probably be out there. But you got him playing 24 minutes, so all his weaknesses are on the floor for 24 minutes. On top of that, what you end up finding out is there's a certain way you got to utilize Rui. You need to make him a scorer. You need to give him 9 or more attempts. We complained about this a lot before the AD trade was made, the Luka trade was made. You have to get him his looks. If you don't get him his looks, he's out there running around just being less than what you need him to be. The best way to get the most out of Rui is to make sure that he's getting a good volume of attempts on shots. Not everybody needs that. That's definitely not what you need from Vando, but you need that from Rui so that he can be who he needs to be for your team, for this particular team that he's on, as it currently constructed, to get the most out of him. So I think that's where we really dropped the ball. You got him out there, he's not playing well, and you got him taking only like 4 attempts. He's just running around out there, and you know, there's no real kind way to put it, but I just think he brings down the overall aptitude of the team. We have a very intelligent team. That is not his strength. So when you have him out there for 24 minutes, not doing what it is he does well, again, his deficiencies show. And then, you know, there's other things going on too. It's like, I think guys like Jordan Crawford, I believe, I don't know why his name is going blank, but I think that individual has found himself a little tired because he's been a part of the team that has played these 3 games, 3 back-to-back games thing over, you know, the course of the last 2 weeks. He's been one of the guys who's been having to play most of those games. You know, you got Austin Reeves coming in and out of the lineup, and when he's in the lineup, he's being asked to have a different role depending on who is with him out there. Him and Luka tend to be able to find a way to work with one another, but once you throw in a third ball handler, LeBron James, now all of a sudden Austin is doing things that don't get the most out of him as well, and some of his weaknesses may be exploited a bit more because he's not able to seamlessly do the things that he ultimately is functioned to do naturally. So that's really what it comes down to. He's also kind of part of the class of players that played a lot. You know what I mean? So he's a little tired, I'd imagine. Dorian Finney-Smith has played a lot. And he's coming off a pretty good game against Orlando. He was 4 out of 6 from behind the arc. I think the shot making had disappeared, and that was some of what was wrong there. Hopefully this is a sign of that no longer being what we're going to experience with him going forward for this road trip. But like, you just go down the line of each and every player. You know, Gabe Vincent's been playing a lot. He's also not really hitting shots, kind of inconsistent at times. We're a much better team. We can get like 15 points out of him. We're a much worse team when he's not making shots. So, you know, and then you got Vando, who's been in a slump. I think we're still asking him, we're utilizing him the wrong way, just like we're utilizing Rui the wrong way, in my opinion. You're asking Vando to complete plays, you know. Guys are creating and passing to Vando. That is the absolute worst way to use him. He doesn't particularly catch very well. He doesn't have the greatest hands. In situations where 90% of the league would score, he can't. You know what I mean? Like, literally. Give him the ball underneath the basket and it's flying out of his hands somehow. You know, so it's like, you leave Vando alone and you ask him to play defense and roam. You never pass him the ball unless you absolutely have to. And that's where we're making a mistake. We keep forcing Vando to finish plays. We keep forcing him to be somebody that creators are on the floor with because of their deficiencies defensively. But he has deficiencies in finishing. So you got to stop asking him to catch the ball and score. If he hits a corner 3, you give him an applause. But that's not something you ever want to ask him to do. If he's able to catch the ball in stride and dunk the ball, you give him applause. But that's something that you expect for him to screw up. It just is what it is. He's not an offensive player. He's not really that great scoring the ball. He's good when he's left alone and told to just come up with the ball at random. Get in the passing lanes and get the ball from them. Rebound the ball and get it to a facilitator who's going to create. That's all I need Vando to do, man. He's Dennis Rodman. You know what I mean? Literally. Don't pass him the ball. I can't tell you how many times we've thrown away possessions trying to find him. Like, literally, stop. That should be Rui. Rui needs those touches. Rui's the guy who's going to finish those plays. So it's like we need to invert all of our ideas about Rui, it seems, for Vando. You know, Vando should be doing the things that we're asking Rui to do, and Rui should be doing the things that we're asking Vando to do. That's what I'm seeing down there. And Dalton should be doing some of the things we're asking Vando to do too. All that's finishing and stuff, and catching the ball in stride, catching the ball in the corner. I don't need Vando doing none of that. But I do have players that are not getting enough touches who need to be doing all of it. So, like, this is the crap that's catering to why the Lakers' offense stinks, is because we've lost, in the midst of having players go down in injury, our principles as it pertains to what will get the most out of these players. It's like they've forgotten all the stuff that they needed to know in order to do so. And I've heard some talk about Luka being a selfish player. That is horse manure. This man averages more assists than most players y'all praise for being playmakers. That's horse manure. I don't want to hear any more of that. Oh, he shoots too much. He's Luka the Don. You want him shooting more than everybody else. See, some players I don't need to shoot 35 shots. There's guys out there that take 30 shots. And I don't need them to take 30 shots. Luka the Don's one of those people that I have every confidence in. He takes 30 shots, he's going to walk away with 60 points. You feel me? So it's like, we signed up for the Luka the Don experience. Don't bring him here and then demand he defer. I don't want that. He's a playmaker extraordinaire, shot creator extraordinaire. If he wants to do anything in that framework, I trust his talent as much as I trust anybody in the NBA. That's what I want to say about Luka the Don. He's one of the few people that can catch the ball at the top of the key and launch a three from 35 feet away, and I feel damn good about that shot. You see what I'm saying? Ain't too many players I feel that way about. He is one of my dudes. Because I think he's going to make great decisions in a good portion of the time. I think he's going to find a way to craft it, get into the lane very crafty and score and get to the line. So for me, I feel great about him catching the ball anywhere in the offensive situation. Anywhere in an offensive situation, if he has the ball in his hands, I feel great. I just want people to understand that. He has that type of gift. He was born to be able to do great things on the offensive end. So if he wants to take a shot from 40 feet away, I trust it might go. It's probably going to go in. Now, does he continue to grow and get better from here? Of course. He's 26 years old. Yes, he's going to get better from here. But as far as me being concerned that he's not passing enough, that's stupid. That's sheer stupidity to make a person feel that way. You don't know ball. Let Luka be Luka, man. And if you tell him he has to be somebody else, and you're not getting the most out of him. Now, the problem is you got the same problem with Bron. I feel great about Bron catching the ball anywhere, too. Although, because I've been watching Bron for 7 years, I don't feel as strongly in terms of his decision-making at times. I just seen him make too many decisions that I don't love. I'm just being honest with you. Maybe it's because I just ain't seen as much of Luka, and I've seen more Luka from the far, to where I've seen him do more good things and not as much bad things. You know what I mean? But with LeBron, it's like I don't want him really shooting every shot he wants to take. I don't want him to have the ball in his hands trying to facilitate all the damn time. Not really. I don't think of him as a pure point guard. Luka is. In fact, I can argue Luka's the best point guard in basketball. So, y'all, LeBron fans have to forgive me for not expressing the same intensity and the confidence. Because LeBron just did too many things at times, shooting from afar when he's not the greatest shooter. I just don't think his decision-making is as stellar as people say it is, based on my eye test. Doesn't mean he's not an amazing player, because he obviously is. Doesn't mean I don't trust him, because I really do. But there are times where I just want him to get the ball to a facilitator so he can be a recipient of passes from that person. And I think that that's what Luka is. You can find Bron in stride, and I trust Bron to finish more than I trust anybody else. Around the basket, layup, stuff like that, I put my money on LeBron finishing the ball probably more so than maybe anybody else who's ever played the game. At his position specifically, I don't know, maybe Wilt Chamberlain and Shaq. You know what I mean? Like, he's a finisher, man. Ball, he can create too. But I think that that's where his superpower truly is catching his stride, running at the basket, looking to lay or dunk the ball, or looking to do a turnaround fade or something like that, catching in his spots and stuff like that, and working from there. I trust him to make something great happen each and every one of those times. So that's really how I feel. I want Luka to have a ball in his hands, but I do want LeBron and Austin to be more incorporated into the offense to allow them to do that too. And I think where we're struggling the most is probably with Austin and allowing for him to feel seamless. He's being asked to take too many back seats in the midst of trying to get LeBron and Luka to having chemistry. It's Austin that could probably help us in some of those possessions that we're doing the my turn, your turn thing with Luka and Bron. And so that's what it becomes. I don't know that these last couple of games with Bron being out didn't hurt the chemistry overall as it pertains to Luka and him. Because when they first got here, when Bron was in the stride playing great, it was seamless. Luka could work his way along, and then Bron would clean up, and we would just win games, and the defense came together and all of that. Bron step away, we start losing basketball games. Now Luka's had an opportunity, had the offense to himself. Now you got to incorporate Bron. It seems like it really hurt the overall chemistry of the unit. And so hopefully we can figure that out. Hopefully we're not headed down a downward spiral from here. But I think our roster has already proven that it can do extraordinary things on the defensive side with these same men. We just got to remember what the principles were that we were using to get the most out of everyone. If Rui's getting 5 attempts, we're not getting nothing out of him. Nothing. And especially with him ailing with the knee. He's going to be even less of a defender. Even less explosive. That is not good. So if we're not figuring out how to properly utilize Rui, our struggles will continue. I can promise you that. Dalton Knecht needs to be getting touches while he has it. His confidence is a ever seesawing thing. When he's up, he can go for 35. When he's down, he ain't scoring nothing. And you got to understand when he's got it going, how to get the most out of him before he doesn't have it going again. And right now, he's been having it going, and we haven't been pressing his button to get the most out of him while that seesaw is up in the air. That's a huge coaching mistake. Huge. And so this is a lot of stuff that I'm obviously not alone in my frustrations with how we've been playing. Everybody who's on the Lakers side of things is frustrated. But I think a good 70% of it is adjustable. You can adjust out of these problems and find ways of getting the most out of your team again. Rest isn't coming, man. Rest isn't coming. I just want people to know we do. After the Rockets game, we have 2 days off, but there ain't going to be no rest unless we complete the season and don't find ourselves in the play-in tournament. We'll get a week's rest, which is going to be a heaven sent for this unit. But until then, it's either 2 games in a row or 1 day off in between games. Otherwise, you just got to play it out. And I think chemistry right now and a team gelling is just as important as any aspect of what it is that we're trying to accomplish in getting rest or any other type of principle. They got to figure out how to play with one another. You can have all the rest in the world and feel as fresh as you want to feel, but if we keep going out there doing the same stuff we've been doing these last 2 games, we will get killed. It just is what it is. We're not going to win. Teams that keep on beating the hell out of us like they've been doing these last couple of games. So the losses are piling up. We're currently in 5th place. Teams around us have been losing some, so it really does help. But we got to figure ourselves out, and rather quickly, or else we're going to find ourselves in the play-in tournament going up against teams that we do not necessarily want a one-and-done game against. Which is literally anybody, honestly. I don't want a one-and-done with anybody. So that's my point of view. Los Angeles Lakers are a team that I think is more than capable of doing good things. Walking on a basketball court right now. I don't think I've ever walked over here. But it's one of those situations where it brought me to this point this conversation brought me to walk over to the basketball court. I just think that at the end of the day, what we're going to do as a unit has to be worked out first in our structure of things, and then from there finding ourselves in a position to face whoever's in front of us. I'm looking up and I'm seeing this crap. That's what's the garbage. You see that? That crap. We need to beat people like them. We need them not to have a better season than us. I know that's not the most important thing in the world to us, but since I'm looking at it, it's important enough. Could this be the first year where we see them in the playoffs? If things keep going the way they are, they may. I'd be damned if we get ousted by those guys. I'd be damned if we get ousted by them. I knew something was drawing me over here. Both sides. It's probably sponsored by those jackasses. Listen to me, man. It's Laker pride over here. And I know we got some new guys and we're probably tired. We got injuries, all these different things, man. But at the end of the day, we really do have a standard that is far beyond anything those people can accomplish. They can't do any of what it is we've done over the last 70 years or however long we've been in LA. And we need to make sure that we continue to be better than them. That's what it comes down to for me. We got to be better than them, and we have to tie Boston up in these, once again, for NBA championships. They've been ahead of us all this time. We finally tied them up, and then that would be the year those jerks get a championship. We got real rivals and ops out here, man, who are happy to see us fail, who want to see us continue to struggle as a unit, as a franchise, who want nothing more than to find themselves in positions to at least just laugh at our pain or what have you. Some of them are so happy with beating us only because they'll never win anything themselves. A lot of these teams like that. They run around jumping around like they won a championship where they beat the Lakers. Why? Because they ain't beating anybody else in a meaningful situation. This is their championship. You beat LeBron, you beat Luka. Our pride needs to have us leaning into things that bring about success. And I can't stress it enough. We got to remember our principles, and we can't keep asking players to do things that they're not best at doing, or forgetting things that we've already learned just because we were away from what it is that we were used to for 2 or 3 weeks. We shouldn't have forgotten how to use Rui. We shouldn't be asking Vandal to do stuff he ain't no good at doing. We shouldn't be not using Dalton Connect. Trey Jemison caused a lot of success out there. We need to continue to utilize him. I don't know what we're doing out here, but we need to get back to remembering who we found ourselves to be when we were on an 8-game winning streak. We were pushing the right buttons. We were doing things as a unit defensively. We had all the right principles that pertains to the offensive side, and we were doing things the right way. We've lost all of that, and I don't know what the reason is for it, but if we stay on this path, we're going to continue to struggle. It ain't deeper than that, Laker fans. So that's pretty much my point of view, man. All this losing, who we doing? 3 out of the last 10 games. 7 of the last 10 games, whether. That's garbage. I don't know what the hell's going on, but I don't like it. And that's really what it comes down to. I think we've had one game, literally one game that I was more or less impressed with, and that was the Denver Nuggets game that we didn't even win. We have not been playing good ball, man, and we could blame the schedule. But athletes got to play, man. We can blame the other teams and give them all the credit for playing well, but ain't none of these teams better than us, man. None of the teams that we've lost to, with the exception of maybe the Boston Celtics, if you guys want to give them that credit, are better than us. They not. We ain't like we run into a bunch of Cleveland, OKC. We ain't ran into these teams. We ain't ran into Houston. We've been losing the teams that we should be beating most of the time, man. Let's just be honest. We've been losing the teams we should be beating most of the time. And I want the Los Angeles Lakers to step into their confidence and just understand, salute the Kobe minute, that we are very close to our goal of not being in the play-in tournament for the first time in since the tournament started? I think we've only missed a year where we weren't in the tournament. And all the other time, they can count on us to bring ratings to that stupid tournament because we bad enough to find ourselves in it. It is time for the Los Angeles Lakers to not find themselves in that damn tournament, man. And if we can have some home court advantage, obviously we've been a very good home team and a very average at best road team. It would behoove us to fight our tooth and nail to make sure we're in one of those top 4 seeds. And it's the first time we've fallen out of that space in about 4 weeks or 3 weeks. We've been in this position to either be 2, 3, or 4. And we wake up this morning in 5th place, man. All this losing we're doing has got to stop. There is no excuse for continuing to lose to these Eastern Conference teams at the bottom of the playoff standings. There's no excuse for this. I understand we can make excuses if we want to, but there is really no excuse for this. We have to get our act together. Right now, we play the Indiana Pacers. They're basically fully healthy. There's only one player on the injury report, and he's out for the season, in Isaiah Jackson, someone we actually drafted for them a couple years back. Other than that, they got everybody, man. They're playing great. They're playing for something. And they're going to come out here with a playoff attitude, man. That's what it really comes down to. We'll get into them a little later as I make my video on that. But I'm telling y'all, we have got to have some real pride about ourselves tonight. I don't want to see us roll over tonight, man. I felt like we rolled over against the Chicago Bulls. We rolled over against the Orlando Magic. Obviously, the Bucks game was punted by our franchise. All this losing, man, it's starting to really irritate me. Video 44. I thank you all for watching. I'm out.